What is going on, everybody? It is Big L here, bringing you our Week 9 battle for the WPF Season 7 Gyarados League. This week, we are the Match of the Week again. Our third time this season being the Match of the Week. We're 1-1, been Match of the Week so far. And this week, we're playing against our good friend Bigschoen and his Tennessee Red Gyarados. If you watched our team builder, you know what we're bringing and why we're bringing it. I'll put a link on the top of the screen so you guys can go watch it if you want to, if you missed it. Just going to run through our team real quick. We are bringing Sarina, Vaporeon, Mega Lopunny, Togekiss, Galvantula, and Heatran. He is bringing Mega Gyarados, Chandelure, Tangrowth, Drapion, Excadrill, and Clefable. At first glance at his team, the first thing I saw that surprised me was no Hippowdon. I thought Hippowdon would come. His team has a hard time matching my speed tiers on my more threatening wands, like I said, like Lopunny or Galvantula. And so I thought he would want to bring Hippo to be able to set that sand for Excadrill. I'm gonna take a drink real quick. But it doesn't surprise me to see the 6 he brought. Like I said in the team builder, the only 2 Pokemon that he could have brought that would have really surprised me would have been the Porygon Z or the Heliolisk. Whenever we were thinking about leads, I thought Sarina would be a great lead. You know, it's Choice Scarfed. I can get a U-turn off if I want to pivot out. I can get a knockoff on something if I really value damage. Or if I just want to go for big damage, I can just click Power Whip. So we'll go into it here, and we will see that he leads Excadrill, which is fine. That doesn't bother us at all. Here I went back and forth quite a few times, deciding whether I wanted to click knockoff or if I wanted to click the U-turn. I didn't think he'd stay in, so I thought maybe he'd go out into Tangrowth here. So I thought U-turn would probably end up being the better play. Plus, I know he likes to run Expert Belt and X-Scissor on Excadrill. But without the Hippo, I didn't know if he was maybe Choice Scarf too. So I didn't really want to take a Choice Scarf X-Scissor. Like, I know we could live it, but it's still not damage I want to take this early on Sarina. So I decided to go ahead and go for the U-turn as he switches out into Chandelure. So a knockoff would have been really, really nice, but it's okay. We got things to deal with Chandelure, and Heatran can completely wall this. We are full max HP, max Spadef, so we know this thing can't really do much to us. I don't think he wants to stay in here, so I'm going to go ahead and click Stealth Rocks as he does stay in and click Shadow Ball. That does a little bit less than I thought it would. I thought it would be if I remember right, the calc said it should be a roll in his favor to 4-hit KO if he was offensive, but he wasn't. So that leads me to believe he has some bulk investment. And I just go ahead and get my rocks up, because I think rocks will be really, really good to wear things down, like the Tangrowth, the Drapion. If this isn't heavy-duty boots, it doesn't want to switch in. Same with the Gyarados before it Mega Evolves. So I think that's... And here I see Earth Power as a no drawback play. As he goes for another Shadow Ball, it does a little bit more this time. And we see here, I expected this to definitely be a 2-hit KO. And it wasn't. So that tells me that he has max HP, and he's either Assault Vest or he has just a bunch of Spadef investment. So here, I think, you know what, he's not going to want to click a Fire move on Heatran, so I'm pretty safe to go out into Lopunny here and put on some really, really strong offensive pressure. So that's what I do. I switch out into Lopunny, predicting the Shadow Ball, and that's exactly what happens. So now I've got my Mega Lopunny in. Nothing he has really wants to switch in on it. As he goes for Tangrowth, I don't think he's going to want to stay in with the Chandelure. He obviously wants it. And I go for a nice U-turn. We get a really nice chunk of damage off, and we see that he is Rocky Helmet. That's really good for us, because now we know that Galvantula and Togekiss can come in on this anytime they really want, and he can't take hits from them. Tangrowth is a really, really bulky Pokemon, but its special defense is really bad. So if it doesn't have an AV, it does not want to live. It does not want to take special hits. So I'm pretty safe to go out into Galvantula here. I wish I had Volt Switch right now, because I think that would have been a better play, a better move to have right here in this situation. But we just go ahead and we click the Bug Buzz in case he wants to stay in. And he goes out into Chandelure, and it does very, very little. We're safe to just go right back. We go out into Togekiss here because I didn't know what he could do to us. I knew this thing was especially bulky. I thought, you know what, maybe this is a good chance for me to just go ahead and set up on it. So here, I go for Soft Boil just to get healthy, as he reveals Toxic. So with those two moves, we now know he's not AV. And so that tells us that in order for that to be it to take the damage that it took from Earth Power from Heatran, it has to be max HP, max special defense. So it's pretty healthy. Our Ahsoka is toxic, and so I just go ahead and decide to go for the nasty plot here. Because I thought at this point, he's just going to leave this thing in, but he goes out into Excadrill, makes a really good play, and I can't stay in here. I'm damaged. If he goes for Iron Head, I'm dead. So we go to Vaporeon. We know we could take any hits from this thing. And he goes for Iron Head, and a crit only does 25% to us. Here, I'm pretty safe to fire off a Scald. I would love to take some damage off on this thing, but he goes out into Clefable, and so we see that he's Magic Guard. And we do a nice little chunk to it. 25% is really good chip on that Clefable. And so I see no reason to stay in. I go ahead and go out to Heatran that I know can wall this thing, and if he tries to go for a setup move, we can just taunt it and make it so it can't set up. He goes right back. He makes a good play. Goes for the teleport out into Excadrill. I can't stay in. And I go out right into Vaporeon as he goes for the Earthquake and does a good chunk of damage to us. And here I decided to go for a Wish. I don't want to take another one of those. As he reveals the Rapid Spin. So we know he's not choiced, but he's really fast now, and that's not good for us. Here, I know I can live another Earthquake, so I just decided to go ahead and go for a Scald. I don't see a reason to click anything else, and we might be able to snag a burn. As he goes into Drapion, and that does really, really good damage, that reveals to us that this Drapion is offensive. And then here, I see no reason to go for anything but another Wish, I believe. Oh, I'll go for another Scald, sorry. And we do really good damage, and we get the burn. So we know this thing can't touch us now. We've lost our leftovers, but that's kind of a bummer. He goes for Cross Poison, trying to get the poison, which makes sense. And we get the Wish up, which is really nice. We can just protect, get back up to full as the burn just whittles him down. And he goes for Earthquake. That's not going to do much to us regardless. And we get back up to full. Here, I can just get up another Wish and make sure that this or whatever Mon I want to come in next is nice and healthy as the Drapion goes down to burn and Vaporeon claims its first kill of the season. Here, he goes to Tangrowth. I go ahead and go out into Sarina because I figured he might go for something like a Leech Seed if I tried to go into Togekiss or the Galvantula, and I thought, you know what, maybe he gives me the Rocky Helmet on this. He's not going to want to, I don't think he's going to want to switch the Gyarados in, fearing a Trop Kick, and because I don't think I've run any Grass Stab on this Mon except for Trop Kick all season. So I don't think he's going to want to switch in the Gyarados to try to get that Trop, because he didn't want to take the Trop Kick and lose attack. So here, I just decide I'm going to go ahead and just go for a knockoff. Well, he can lose his Rocky Helmet, and he does the same. And that's kind of bad for us, but it's not the end of the world, because now I'm not locked into a move. I can go ahead and click Aromatherapy and heal Togekiss's Toxic Poison, which is really, really nice. As he shows the Earthquake, it does very little. And here, I can just go ahead and go for a U-turn. And I go right out into Galvantula. I know there's not really anything he can do to this. He goes for knockoff, which is really, really good on his part, but at this point, we've seen 3 moves on the Excadrill, so I don't think he has Stealth Rocks on that Pokemon, so I don't really need the Heavy Duty Boots, and I'm going to take a drink real quick. And he goes out into the Clefable, which I thought was kind of strange. So I decided, you know what, I want damage on this. I have Iron Tail on Lopunny. If I can get this thing worn down, Iron Tail to a max HP, max defense Clefable does at least 50%. It does 50 to 59 if he's max HP, max defense with a defense boosting nature. So I know if I can just get this thing whittled down, Lopunny, he cannot come in on Lopunny. So I just go ahead and go for a Thunder here, and we miss. And that's really a bummer because, with Compound Eyes, it's really, really accurate. I clicked that on the switch because I thought that there was a chance he could go into Chandelure, which is what he'd switched into it before. I didn't think he'd want to go Excadrill because, we do outspeed him, and I don't think he's going to want to take like a Spadaf Drop or anything like that on it. And we could have had Energy Ball. So I thought, Thunder 2-hit KOs the Chandelure from where it's at. It can really wear down the Tangrowth from where it was at. And he goes up to Clefable, and that would have been really big damage to have. And so I decided I'm going to go for another one, and it does 43%, leaving him really, really whittled down. As he goes out into Excadrill, I don't want to stay in here. I think Galvantula is really useful later, as he goes for Rapid Spin. So He's trying to set up on me, which is really, really scary. This Excadrill is a problem if it gets set up. Here, I thought about going for the Haze, but I thought about it in my head, and I was like, you know what? If I Scald, it's really, really weakened, and if we get a burn, then this thing it has to keep setting up. And even if he does go for a Swords Dance, which I'm not sure he has, because like I said, I know he likes to run. X's or whenever he has to play against a bulky grass. So even if he does Swords Dance, which again I'm not sure he has, he needs a higher roll. It's like a 56% chance he has to KO me from this range. So even if he does get the Swords Dance off and he's at +2, Vaporeon has a chance to live. So I decide I'm going to go ahead and go for the Scald, as he does reveal the Swords Dance, and we get the Scald off. And do we get the burn? No, we don't. We don't get the burn, which is really unfortunate. So at this point, I have to see if Vaporeon can live the hit. Like I said, if he's Jolly, it's like a 56% chance to KO me from this range. And he gets the KO. So at this point, it's like, okay, I have to hope he doesn't have a lot of bulk investment. I have to go out into Lopunny. I have to fake it out because he is worn down. And then I have to choose 2 more Mons to sack, depending on whether or not I can get a crit or whether or not he has much bulk investment at all. So here, I go out into Lopunny. I click fake out. It's my only play. And we see, oh crap, I'm going to need to do this at least 2 more times. Here, I view Heatran as my most useless member. So I just go ahead and switch out, go into Heatran. He gets KO'd by Excadrill. And this thing is really putting a hurting on my team. I back out into Lopunny, fake it out. We don't get the crit. So I have to switch out yet again. I view Sarina as my most useless member at this point. And she gets EQ'd. And now we have to go back out into Mega Lopunny. And here, he makes a smart play. I thought really hard about potentially clicking close combat here. But I couldn't do it. If I click anything but fake out and he stays in, I lose the game. I just get 5-0'd. This thing sweeps me. It's over. But I can't live this game with. I can't win this game without Mega Lopunny. But he can still win this game without Excadrill. And so that's why I'm like, I have to click fake out here. And that's what I do. I go ahead and click fake out. And it looks like close combat would have been the better play. But it is what it is. This Tangrowth doesn't have a Rocky Helmet anymore, so it can't really threaten us at all. I go ahead and go for a U-turn. We get a nice crit, but that crit doesn't really matter. We go out into Galvantula as he goes for the Leech Seed, which is kind of annoying. But here, I decide to pull a double, and because I didn't want him getting that much healthier, or I didn't want whatever he brought in to be much healthier, so he goes for the Earthquake, so we could have claimed the KO on this. And he goes into Chandelure as I go for the Air Slash, and we get very little damage off on it. Here, I just had to go ahead and just plot up. I didn't know what he wanted to go for, as he just goes for the Toxic, which is kind of annoying. But here, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and see how much damage I can get off on this thing, and we almost get the KO, but we do get the flinch, which is really nice. So he can't Pain Split and get all that health back. Here, we go for the Air Slash again, just to claim the KO, and Togekiss gets our second KO of the game. Ahsoka's starting to get worn down by the Toxic as he goes out into Excadrill. I view Galvantula as less useful than Ahsoka at this point. I know Ahsoka cannot live an Iron Head. Obviously, if he goes for Iron Head here, then that's fantastic, because I know that Galvantula can take it. As he goes for the Iron Head, we know, like I said, we knew we lived it, and we outspeed. So here, I go for the Bug Buzz, because Bug Buzz would have killed Excadrill at that range, and we get the KO on Tangrowth. Here, he goes out into Clefable. He makes a really smart play here and protects, because Thunder was a roll to KO. And he gets the Protect off, and now Thunder isn't a roll to KO. But I'm like, you know what? At this point, we know, like I said, we know that Mega Lopunny with Iron Tail does minimum of, like, I think it's like 50.6% to Clefable. And so I'm like, at this point, I'm like, okay, I have to make this thing kill Galvantula. I have to make this thing kill. I cannot let Clefable be in and have full health and be or even a high amount of health. So I'm like, I have to just keep clicking Thunder until we either get a KO, get a para, something good happens for us. And something good does happen for us. We get the crit and knock out the Clefable. That was big because that didn't ever kill. The max roll was 47%. But looking back, you know, if we had hit the Thunder earlier on it, it would have been close to dead anyway. Or we wouldn't have needed the crit to KO. He would have been at really, really low health. But that was big, you know. If, like I said, if we don't get that crit, who knows how the game would have gone. It would have been a much, much different end game. At this point, the end game looks really straightforward for us. He goes out into Gyarados, and we see that he's Moxie. So I thought there was a chance that he wouldn't Mega Evolve here. When I saw that he was Moxie, I wanted to click Bug Buzz. If we'd come in and been Intimidate, I would have clicked Bug Buzz because I would have wanted the guaranteed damage. But I couldn't let him get off a free Dragon Dance. So if he didn't Mega Evolve, which I thought he might not do because he was, like I said, he's Moxie. But he could, but I'm like, you know, he can't leave himself unmega because then he has no chance to live a Thunder. So I just go ahead and go for a Thunder, and we do really big damage to the Gyarados. And he goes for a Dragon Dance. But he's in range of Fake Out from Lopunny. Here, I just stay in. Galvantula did its job and then some today. And so I go out into Mega Lopunny. Mega Lopunny goes for the Fake Out, knocks out the Gyarados. He brings in Excadrill, and we just go ahead and click the Close Combat. No reason to click anything else. And we get the 2-0 victory over Bigschoen. And like I said, a little bit of hacks, but I don't think the hacks decided the game, considering how I kind of leveled out. You know, we got the miss early on the Clefable, which, like I said, it would have made it so like Clefable was at much lower health later. Would have made it so that crit I didn't need the crit there. So I don't think the hacks was like the deciding factor in the game. He brought a really cool team. He played well. So did we. I'm glad we played well again. But that gets us to 6-3. We've accomplished our first goal for the season, which was get to 500. And now we have our next goal, which is get in the playoffs. Not all the games have been finished from week 9 yet, but depending on how they go, there's a chance that one more game clinches us the division, which means we clinch at least the 2 seed. There's still a way we can get the 1 seed, especially now that we have this tiebreaker over Bigschoen. The only team in the other division that we don't have the tiebreaker against is ASDF. So if Bigschoen or even Pardus can come back and win that division, we can potentially get the 1 seed, which would be really, really nice. But, you know, we've still got 3 division battles left, and we're going to try to win them. We're going to try to win them all, but I think we only need one more win to guarantee playoffs. We have the tie, like I said, we have the tiebreaker against Pardus, and so I don't think, I think if we get one more win, I don't see any way that we don't at least get the last wild card spot. Just because, you know, with divisions, like all those guys in their division, like Pardus, Bigschoen, and ASDF, those guys all have to play each other again. So there's going to be losses in there. You know, my division, we all have to play each other again. Like B and Duck, they still have to play each other, which means that guaranteed one of them is getting at least one more loss. So like I said, it would take a lot for us to miss playoffs at this point, I think. But I think one more season clinches it for us. Again, I said it in the team builder. Shout outs to ASDF and TRT77 for helping me build this week. I really needed it. I usually ask Bigschoen to help out, but obviously he couldn't help me build this week, and he got to T4U first this week, so obviously T4U couldn't help me whenever he was already helping Bigschoen. So the 2 people I typically turn to couldn't help me prep this week, but TRT and ASDF did a great job helping me out this week. I really appreciate it. And that'll do it for me today, guys. Oh, go ahead, and I'm going to have links to everybody down below in the description and a link to the Discord. So make sure you go check all that stuff out. If you're not from the Discord, want to go in and check it out. Everyone in there is pretty chill. It's a really, really cool server. If you want to come in, people are really friendly. Talk to people about Mons, stuff like that, and I think you'll have a good time. Until next week, I will catch you guys later. Have a good one.